Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. Chapter 4. Do you want to miss your plane? Alice demanded, right next to me now. I'm sure I'll have a lovely honeymoon camped out in the airport waiting for another flight. Edward turned his face slightly to murmur, "Go away, Alice," and then pressed his lips to mine again. "Bella, just wear that dress on the aeroplane," she demanded. I wasn't really paying much attention. At the moment, I simply didn't care. Alice growled quietly. "I'll tell her where you're taking her, Edward. So help me, I will." He froze, then he lifted his face from one and glared at his favourite sister. You're awfully small to be so hugely irritating." "I didn't pick out the perfect going-away dress to have it wasted," she snapped back, taking my hand. "Come with me, Bella." I tugged against her hold, stretching off my shoes to kiss him one more time. She jerked my arm impatiently, hauling me away from him. There were a few chuckles from the watching guests. I gave up then and let me lead her into the empty house. She looked annoyed. "Sorry, Alice," I apologised. "I don't blame you, Bella," she sighed. "You don't seem to be able to help yourself." I giggled at her martyred expression and she scowled. "Thank you, Alice. It was the most beautiful wedding anyone ever had," I told her earnestly. "Everything was exactly right. You're the best, smartest, most talented sister in the whole world." Belle thawed her out and she smiled a huge smile. "I'm glad you liked it." Renee and Esme were waiting upstairs. The three of them quickly had me out of my dress and into Alice's deep blue going-away ensemble. I was grateful when someone pulled the pins out of my hair and let it fall loose down my back, wavy from the braids, saving me from a hairpin headache later. My mother's tears streamed without the break an entire time. "I'll call you when I know where I'm going," I promised as I hugged her goodbye. I knew the honeymoon secret was probably driving her crazy. My mother hated secrets unless she was in on them. "I'll tell you as soon as she's safely away," Alice outdid me, smirking at my wounded expression. "How unfair for me to be the last to know." "You have to visit me and Phil very, very soon. It's your turn to go south. See the sun for once," Renee said. "It didn't rain today," I reminded her, avoiding her request. "A miracle." "Everything is ready," Alice said. "Your suitcases are in the car. Jasper's bringing it round." She pulled me back towards the sleigh with Renee following, still halfway embracing me. "I love you, Mum," I whispered as we descended. "I'm so glad you're off, Phil. Take care of each other. I love you too, Bella, honey." "Goodbye, Mum. I love you," I said again, my throat thick. Edward was waiting at the bottom of the stairs. I took his outstretched hand, but leaned away, scanning the crowd that was waiting to see us off. "Dad?" I asked, my eyes searching. "Over here," Edward murmured. He pulled me through the guests they made a pathway for us. We found Charlie leaning awkwardly against the wall behind everyone else, looking a little like he was hiding. The red rims around his eyes explained why. "Oh, Dad." I hugged him round the waist, tears streaming again. I was crying so much tonight. He patted my back. "There now, you don't want to miss your plane." It was hard to talk about love with Charlie. We were so much alike, always reverting to trivial things to avoid embarrassing emotional displays. This was no time for being self-conscious. "I love you forever, Dad," I told him. "Don't forget that." "You too, Bells. Always have, always will." I kissed his cheek at the same time that he kissed mine. "Call me," he said. "Soon," I promised, knowing this was all I could promise. Just a phone call. My father and mother could not be allowed to see me again. I'll be too different, and much, much too dangerous. "Go on then," he said gruffly. "Don't want to be late." Then the guests made another aisle for us. Edward pulled me closer to his side as we made our escape. "Are you ready?" he asked. "I am," I said, and I knew that was true. Everyone applauded when Edward kissed me on the doorstep. Then he rushed me to the car as the rise storm began. Most of it went wide, but someone, probably Emmett, threw with uncanny precision, and I caught a lot of the ricochets off Edward's back. The car was decorated with more flowers it trailed in streamers along its length, with long gossamer ribbons that was tied to a dozen shoes, designer shoes that looked brand new, dangling from the bumper. Edward shielded me from the rice while I climbed in, and then he was in, and we were speeding away as I waved out the window and called "I love you" to the porch, where my families waved back. The last image I registered was one of my parents. He fell at both arms, wrapped tenderly around Renee. She had one arm tight around his waist, but had her free hand reached out to hold Charlie's. So many different kinds of love, harmonious in this one moment. It seemed a very hopeful picture to me. Edward squeezed my hand. "I love you," he said. I leaned my head against his arm. "That's why we're here," I quoted him. He kissed my hair. As we turned onto the black highway, Edward really hit the accelerator. I heard the noise over the purr of the engine coming from the forest behind us. If I could hear it, then he certainly could. But he said nothing as the sound slowly faded in the distance. I said nothing either. The piercing, heartbroken howling grew fainter and disappeared entirely.